Sahara TV, Everything Africa. You're welcome back to our show. Still on the tip of the elections, Nigeria Decides 2015. We're looking at it from several angles. One of the angles we'll be looking at Nigeria Decides 2015 this week is from the perspective of Nigerians living outside of Nigeria. We're not going too far from Nigeria. We're going to Ghana, where we will speak with Femi Akomolofe. Femi is a writer, an author, and a Pan-Africanist. You're welcome to SaharaTV, Femi.
Thank you very much, Kwesi.
Okay, so let me start by asking you, what's the mood like for Nigerians living in Ghana, especially after the postponement? What's the mood like?
Yeah, the mood is, everybody's waiting with anticipation, and it doesn't be easy, especially given the tension generated. I don't know if you heard about the posters that were pulled down in Ghana.
Yep.
A lot of Nigerians put up posters of their political parties, and the authorities find it a threat, and so they were pulled down. But like the rest of Nigeria, we're waiting.
Okay, so let me ask you about those billboards. There was a lot of brouhaha about mounting those billboards, and it actually came up in Parliament when the member of Parliament for Asin Central suggested that it was a threat to Ghana's sovereignty. We also heard that the commissioner, the High Commissioner of Nigeria, complained about that. What happened? Nothing at all happened? It just ended there?
Yeah, it ended there. Not only the Nigerian Commission, also the Ghana Association of Advertisers, they were also very much against it, because they didn't think that it breached any of the laws of Ghana. But that is beyond people.
What's your personal view on that? As a Pan-Africanist, what's your personal view on that?
It disturbs greatly that we're still at the stage that we find it difficult to accept that, there are a lot of Nigerians living and a lot of Ghanaians living in Nigeria. I see posters all over Europe whenever I go there, and nobody seems to be bothered with it. And honestly, I don't know what the security implications are supposed to be for Ghana. I mean, people
considering, I've heard a fair bit of commentary on the subject, though, and considering the fact that the issue is already very volatile in Nigeria, and also the proximity of Nigeria to Ghana, shouldn't Ghanaians be concerned about the political activities in Nigeria, which is a volatile situation, creeping into Ghana? Is that fear not legitimate in your view?
Ghana is a very lawful country. So long as you live in Ghana, you don't breach the laws. What did the law say about putting up advertisements?
Okay. All right.
Ghana advertisers collected money to put these things up, so they should have informed themselves about the legal implications. So honestly, I find it difficult as a Pan-African is that we are still at the level where we are so, I don't know, especially between Nigeria and Ghana.
Nigeria and Ghana have a standing history of deportations. Nigeria has deported Ghanaians, of deportations. Nigeria has deported Ghanaians before, and I think Ghanaians actually deported Nigerians first. With this, and also with how easy it is for one to travel from Ghana to Nigeria, you still don't think there's a threat? I'm sorry to flog perhaps a dead horse, but I really want to get to the bottom of this.
Is it not time we move away from all those tribal whatever in the 60s, 70s, whatever? Europe fought a lot more wars among themselves than Africa, but they move ahead because they know they realize the economic and the enormous economic benefits of integrating themselves. So for how long are we going to keep on dragging ourselves back to water points?
Okay. All right. Good point. Now let's move forward. For Nigerians living in Ghana, what are they doing? Do you think some of them are preparing to go home to vote? Because we heard reports of some actually leaving Nigeria to stay in Ghana till the elections are over. Have you seen any signs of Nigerians preparing to go home to partake in the enfranchising exercise?
Of course, a lot of Nigerians are very passionate about their political parties, and several of them plan to go back. I'm not aware of exodus of Nigeria because of elections together. I didn't say that it's not true. I'm just not aware of it. There are a lot of Nigerians living here, but they are here not because of the election.
All right. So now let's get into the elections proper. The two most likely candidates to emerge, one of them will emerge, is incumbent Goodluck Jonathan and General Buhari.
Yeah.
Which of them is a better candidate in your opinion, Femi?
There should be no discussion about who is a better candidate. We've seen what Jonathan is capable of doing. His party has been in power for 16 years. And honestly, that we are even talking about who is better is also, it shows the level of, I don't know how to put it, but honestly, there's no doubt that Buhari is a better candidate by far. I mean, talk about discipline. Nigeria is in a rotten state. Let's all agree about that. Nigeria, there's hardly any discipline. There is no regard for any rule. There is impunity. There's recklessness all over the place. There's depravity. There's a culture of corruption. If Jonathan is a capable guy, he will have dealt with these things. He has got 6 years to tackle some of them. His party has been in government for 16 years. If they are serious, they have ample time to have dealt with this issue. And today, Nigeria is honest. I mean, it's almost a failed state. I won't call it a failed state. Imagine Nigerians relying on Chadian and Nigerians to come and suffer security challenges. Honestly, that is a real insult to anything right in Nigeria. We should not even be. I mean, either on foreign policy, on domestic policy, it is a utter mess Nigeria is seeing presently. And that people even talking about talking about Jonathan, what evidence, what argument are they positive for him? That is a candidate, is a better candidate. Better in what sense, please?
Okay, so let's look at General Buhari then, who to you is a better candidate than...
The what?
Let's take a closer look at General Buhari. He has a few issues in his cupboard as well. There have been talks of human rights abuse and religious chauvinism. Can we overlook these and still give him the green light to go ahead and be president of...
I read some of the arguments. The man was a military dictator. His deputy, he is a Muslim. His deputy, Diago, was also a Muslim. He could have Islamized Nigeria if he wanted to. He could have just put a degree. Today, he's running as a Democrat, presidential candidate of the Democratic Party. His deputy is a Christian from the South. How can any educated Nigerian even be arguing that Buhari is coming to Islamize Nigeria? How would that be possible?
I have heard suggestions that he has mentioned... Femi,
what do you say?
I've heard suggestions that he has mentioned that he supports Sharia law, for instance. Isn't that an indicator?
He mentioned, should we be going by what people say and what they didn't say? Does he have the capacity? Does he have the power to Islamize Nigeria? Part of the Nigerian Constitution,
it starts with an intent, if you ask me.
Constitution amendment to Islamize Nigeria. I mean, we should move and debate concrete issues facing the Nigerians. The issues facing Nigeria are too gigantic, I mean, why do we even begin to, throwing darts around that the man is going to Islamize Nigeria? Where is he going to derive the power from?
Okay.
By decree?
All right. So now let's also look at the issue of what I call regurgitated politicians. Buhari has been head of state before, just like former President Olusegun Obasanjo. With all the amazing stock of human resource in Nigeria, don't we have any answers accept these regurgitated politicians?
The what?
Don't we have any other options apart from these recycled politicians?
Sadly, we don't have any option. We remind you of how Nkrumah defined Western style democracy. It is a competition between oligarchies. So, I mean, behind the fineer, we know that it is money that moves politics. How many young people have got the financial power to challenge this? We should call for a reformation of the system. But presently, we have the system which is totally rotten, the Western style democracy. It is not only in Nigeria, also in Ghana. But let us not that recycling, these people are put up by their political power. Who is financing the political parties? By the political parties. Who is financing the political parties? So we have a system which require enormous amount of money to run, and then we sit back and say, oh, political parties are regurgitating old. Why don't we call for a total reformation of the system that might take into consideration our traditional values, our traditional system of governance? This is what I advocated, some of my rights.
Femi, it's very interesting that you've mentioned that. It's very interesting that you mentioned this because I know you are an advocate for that, and I was actually going to ask you a question about that. Is Western type democracy necessarily working for Africans? You have advocated,
working in Europe, is still working in America?
Well, let's just look at Africa. Let's just limit ourselves to Africa for the time. Not even Nigeria, just Africa.
Of course, it cannot work because it's not. I mean, the old structure is so deficient that it is even idiotic to expect it to work. You have political parties that that needs enormous amount of money to function. That is the system we are having. And then, how many of us have got the money? There are a lot of good people. They haven't got the resources. There's a nice lady in Nigeria who's running for presidency, but no one knows about her because she's running a campaign on shoestring.
That's
a lot of decent people want to come up.
Can Nigeria handle a female president, or can a female president handle Nigeria the other way around? Do you think Nigeria?
Please, I can't hear you, please. Can you repeat that?
Can a female president handle Nigeria with all the issues going on? Is a female president suitable for Nigeria at this time? I
don't know. I wouldn't know about that. But in Liberia, did a lot. Did she do something differently from what the other politicians are doing? The one in Malawi, what's her name? Did she do anything different? I don't think we should generalize or tribalize or religionize anything. The system is rotten. Whoever is thrown up by this system cannot but be compromised.
Okay, Femi. So before we go though, let me ask you also about let's go back to the Nigerian elections proper. Touch wood, something happens. What's going to be the impact on the West African sub-region?
The impact of Nigerian, I always tell my Ghanaian friends and colleagues that we should all be, I'm not a prince type, but we should all hope that nothing happens to Nigeria, because imagine 10% of Nigerian as refugees in West Africa, that would totally dislocate the sub-region. So we're talking about 80 million people becoming refugees, and of course their country of choice will be Ghana. So Ghana is 25 million. Imagine half of the 80 million coming to settle in Ghana. So we all should be hopeful that nothing happens.
Definitely. Also, let me push you to the wall a bit. You have talked about maintaining states instead of the country Nigeria. You've talked, for instance, about the Yoruba nation, the Igbo nation, and stuff like that. You think it's about time to consider that?
I'm a Pan-Africanist, so I cannot be advocating the balkanization of any African state. What I would like is if this, it is difficult thinking that we can go back to the traditional tribal, national Yoruba. Take the case of Nigeria, for example. Apart from a few of those nationalities, few are viable. I mean, let's look at Africa as an example. Few of these colonial entities are viable. I mean, they are bigger. So if we start to break them down into their component, tribal, ethnic units, where do we go from there? Presently, we are facing challenges of Boko Haram. We are facing challenges of imperialism destroying our continent. How do we face up to the challenges, external challenges, when we go back behind our ethnic walls? Have we considered that? Nigeria has offered a lot of protection, a lot of opportunities for Nigerians. Nigeria has worked before. I am lucky to have lived in a Nigeria that was respected worldwide. Yeah. So
who made Nigeria work, Femi? Under whose?
What do you say?
Under whose? Under whose tenure did Nigeria work?
I don't know if you remember the 1975 Murtala Obasanjo era when Nigeria was a member of was all over the world champion African country. I was made a member of the frontline state, although we are geographically very far away from I mean, it was then sort of pride to call yourself a Nigerian. I mean, the passport was something that was respected. The naira was stronger than the United States dollar. So it was then that Nigeria would travel abroad only to go and get education and come back to our country. Who wants to live abroad? When you have Nigeria to come. The country has worked before, for those of us who lived through it. That is why we remain optimistic that should we get the political challenges under control, the country can still work.
Okay.
And Nigeria remains the country that can really lead Africa. I'm not saying this because I'm in Nigeria, but the dynamism we see, this confidence of the people. I mean, it's a sort of great pride for Africa in those days. Yeah.
Okay.
Under a dynamic Nigeria, and what happened in Libya will have been prevented. I cannot imagine Buhari's joining NATO to go and destroy an African state. That's also something we should keep in mind.
Yeah, very deep insights indeed. So before we go, finally, in a sentence or two, couple weeks from now, what do you envisage happening? What will Nigeria look like after the election? What do you project?
I remain optimistic and also I try to be realistic. I still envisage a Nigeria that will triumph despite all the odds. And no matter what the negative or what the naysayers say, I expect the country to sail through.
Thank you so very much, Femi Akomolofe. Femi is a video producer, a writer, and most importantly, a Pan-Africanist. We thank you for your insights, and we'll definitely get back to speak with you after the election, or even during the election, as we cover Nigeria Decides 2015 for our cherished viewers. Stay tuned. This is SaharaTV. More coming.